Welcome, students. Have you ever thought about where we are on our planet Earth? How do we get from one place to another? Well, we are going to find out. Please join me as we learn to use and understand maps in Part 1 and Part 2 of this series called Earth and Mapping. Our solar system has 8 planets on it. We live on one of these planets. Do you know the name of our planet? Let me give you a minute. Did you say the planet Earth? Well, if so, you would be absolutely correct. Here are some ideas about our planet Earth. And this is what Una Jacobs has to say about our Earth in her book, The Earth Calendar. Have you ever thought about the Earth under your feet? It's even there when you can't see it, underneath the grass, the sidewalk, or the buildings. In just one handful of Earth, there may be millions of tiny plants and animals. And of course, all the people living on the Earth. Here we go. Traveling through space are countless numbers of stars and planets, but the Earth is different from these planets because we know there are people, animals, and plants living here. The Earth is one of several planets, which all travel around the same sun. The Earth takes a year to complete its journey around the sun, and during this journey, we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter, our seasons. As the Earth travels through space, it spins around. It takes 24 hours for Earth to turn around completely. This gives us our day and our night. At night, we can see our nearest neighbor in space, the moon. It travels around the planet Earth as the Earth moves around the sun, and we'll be learning more about this. Here we are. This is our Earth, the Earth in our hands. Do you know where we are on this Earth? Let's go find out. So, we're going to pause for a moment, and we are going to fly to our school. Keep your eyes open. You'll see the Nina Otero School pop up in the yellow circle. Ready? Look for it. Our Earth is divided up into large land masses called continents. It's generally accepted that there are 7 continents. Do you know what continent we are in? Let's take a closer look. Can you tell me the name of this? Let's check. If you said we're in North America, you're correct. So, where specifically are we on our Earth? And here is a globe. Can you see us there? We know there are people from all over living on planet Earth. So today, if we were to say, what country do you live in? What would you say? What would your answer be? Did you say the United States? That's correct. And do you know the name of our state as well? Did you say New Mexico? Great. Again, you're correct. And finally, what is the city area that we live in? Some of you may be actually in it, and some of you may be a little bit out of it. Can you draw a picture of the favorite place in our city? Let's see. Did you say we are all here in Santa Fe, New Mexico? If you did, you are correct. Now, let's show us where we live. Here is an actual small globe. This, if I can show it to you, can you see the continent North America there? Can you see the United States in yellow right there? This is a globe. This is used to see where we are. We can spin it around and around. I see Australia down there in the southern hemisphere. Let me see if you can get that up close. Now, in order to find out how to get to other places on this globe, let me change this slide, we need to basically turn the globe into what's called a map. Because a map is much easier to carry around than to walk around with the globe looking to see where we're going. We could carry this around, but there is a better way. But first, we need to know some basic information. Here are some of the mapping terms that we are going to be using. Cardinal directions, longitude lines, prime meridian, latitude lines, the equator, degrees, and NESW. I'll be telling you what NESW is in the next slide. So let's take a look. NESW stands for the 4 cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west. And without these cardinal directions, we have no idea where we're going. North represents the North Pole on the globe up here, and there is magnetic north from the Earth's gravity. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these directions and what they mean. First of all, let's think of an easy way to remember these. How about this? Never eat soggy waffles. That's a good way to remember these cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west. Do you think you can remember those? Let's go on. So the Earth has imaginary lines running up and down from the North Pole to the South Pole. These are called longitude lines, and they are measured in degrees starting with 0. Let me see if I can point that out to you here. I'm not sure that's going to work. At the 0, if I blow that back up again, you can see this line, and the 0 line is what we call the prime meridian. And all movement around the Earth from east to west is done from the prime meridian. Now, what if we need to go north or south? Well, those lines are called lines of latitude, and they start with the 0-degree line, which is known as the equator, and that separates the northern hemisphere. Look at the top half of that globe. Can you see the outline of the United States? That's because we're in the northern hemisphere. So the equator separates the northern hemisphere from the southern hemisphere, and the equator is marked as 0 degrees. So again, these are all done in degrees. So to make a map, here we go, which is easier to carry around than this globe in our pocket when we need to get from one place to another, we are effectively flattening out our Earth to take a look at it and use it as a way to get from one place to another, or to see where we live, or to see where somebody else lives. And we will be using those lines of latitude and longitude and our cardinal directions. Do you remember what they are? Never eat soggy waffles. North, east, south, and west. So I wanted to show you, this is an old antique map of the United States. Can you find New Mexico on it? I highlighted in yellow to make it a little bit easier to see. And here is a more modern, updated map, also of the United States. Let me blow that up so you can see it. And we'll be talking about these. The green, you can see areas of green, which represent highlands and mountain ranges and ridges. And you can see the blue, which represents the oceans. And down in the corner, you see our Hawaiian Islands. But we're going to learn a little bit more about that next time. So students, now that you have some of the basics, let's stay tuned and please come back and join me for part 2 of Mapping and the Earth. And we'll take a trip on a map. So thank you for joining me today. And here are some resources that help do this video. Looking forward to seeing you again. Goodbye and thank you. Bye-bye.